Why is it that people lose weight when they start adopting a plant-based diet?
It's a multiphasic thing. Right at the very beginning, they're unloading a lot of salt. It's the salt in your body that hangs onto the fluid. It's how your body regulates its sort of volume of fluid. And so if you've come from a standard Australian diet or a vegan diet with lots of processed food, every day you're piling in the salt, and you could easily be carrying around an extra litre of fluid. If you're a large person, you might even be carrying around 2 or 3 litres. And so during the first few days, you'll unload that salt and the fluid, and of course you'll lose a kilo per litre of fluid that you unload. I think I guess the next stage of weight loss is it's often fairly rapid in the first few weeks.
Yeah.
And that could be partly because the person, it could be unintended and even undesirable for some people, and it's because they haven't quite adjusted or adapted to the larger volume of food.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had people come to the immersion and serve a little bit of food, it's sort of like buffet style, serve a little bit of food onto their plate. And then they go back and then they look over at Jenny's plate. They look at my plate and just think, yeah, he's a weirdo and he went running this morning. And then they look at Jenny's plate, but then they look at like Jenny's 85-year-old mother often comes along, and they might look at her plate, which is also piled high, and may go back to the buffet and put more food on it. So the weight loss will tend to continue. However, there are some traps in that. When I see people who are stuck with a weight loss, and maybe because they're eating out just a little bit, like maybe 2 or 3 lunches and a couple of dinners, like sometimes people, most of their meals can look pretty good and fairly low sort of calorie density. But just those few items of rich food can add a huge amount of calories in each hit. And that can sometimes be, if I see people who have been doing whole foods plant-based, for at least many months, and their weight's a bit stuck, and you look through their food diary, often you do find that there's an excess of nuts and seeds. And of course, it goes without saying that, if there's a little bit of oil here and there, then there's an awful lot of calories of oil.